Jack Eichel and Tomas Hertl lead the Golden Knights to a weekend sweep as VGK banks points in back-to-back games. Our recaps ahead on this edition of Lockdown Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, hi again, everyone. Start of a new week. Tony Dasco and Chris Gawlik from Las Vegas. We welcome you to Lockdown Golden Knights, part of the Lockdown Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. I'm a longtime sportscaster, marketing consultant, and the host of the Believe in Vegas podcast. Chris is a longtime Chicago Bears fan, the owner of the Silver State Cards and Sports business, and the host of the Hockey News Collectibles show. Coming up ahead on today's show, recaps of the two weekend games and a mid-season contract projection for VGK's Pavel Dorofeyev, and we'll have that for you coming up in our third segment. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Check out the latest odds on all sports by going to FanDuel.com. And don't forget to watch us each and every day. We are now on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Tune in 1 o'clock Monday through Friday on SSSEN, on YouTube TV, or Cox Cable Channel 77. So, Chris, from the jump here, Jack Eichel, I want to talk about him. We want to talk about Tomas Hertl. So, first of all, Eichel is Jackie Pockets, as I refer to him now, is making up for a lot of lost time. He has 4 goals in his last 3 games, including a 2-goal effort last night in San Jose in the 7-2 victory over the Sharks for VGK's 11th consecutive win over San Jose. Eichel taking 7 shots, so he is now stepping up his game, trying to be more on the offensive end. He had 5 points over the weekend in victories over the Sharks and the Blues. And Tomas Hertl, a 5-point night against his former team last night in San Jose, including a couple of goals in that win.
Eichel's on a 5-game point streak right now. I mean, listen, this is what you expect out of Jack Eichel, right? He was brought to Vegas to be center one, to lead the team, to find a way to pot the goals when they matter, to create time and space for his other forwards. And this is the same reason that Kelly McCrimmon a few years back acquired Alex Pietrangelo. You're looking for that star player, that superstar player to give comfort, if you will, to a position. And Eichel is his game is still evolving as a member of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Jackie Pocket's now up to 48 points, Chris, and that includes 16 goals in 37 games. He's missed 7 due to injury, and we are seeing a different type of an approach from Eichel. As soon as the puck lands on a stick, he's looking to shoot the puck on net, right? I mean, this was one of the concerns in the offseason about Eichel. Well, who's going to shoot, him or Marner? Are they just going to pass the puck back and forth? I don't know what that sounds like in any event, but Eichel becoming more offensive, and as the season progresses, more of an offensive threat.
Just a threat in general. I mean, he's a two-way threat. He's what William Karlsson strives to be. There you go, Tony. I'll get you a William Karlsson dig early on a Monday. Shots on goal last few games, 7, 4, 4, 3, just 1 against the Blackhawks in that weird game. Then 3, then 1, then 2, then 4, then 2, then 3, then 2, so on and so forth. Had a 7 shot night against the Habs a while back. So he's finding different ways to have an impact on the game. It's not just when he's out there shooting the puck 3 or 4 times, but he's effective. He's extremely relevant in the outcome of every game.
Jack Eichel got the scoring underway last night. The pass from Ivan Barbashev right there in the crease, and then Graf ties it up at 1 apiece. Pavel Dorofeyev scores his 11th power play goal, 17th overall. Eichel scores his 2nd goal early in the second, and then of course the parade of goals with Hertl a couple of times in that game. White Cloud, Shea Theodore, the empty net goal, and another romp over San Jose for the Vegas Golden Knights. That's a team that the Golden Knights just have their number. I mean, that's the only way to put it, right? Didn't they beat them? You said it's identical scores. They've beaten it by 7-2.
Both games, right? Or so twice the Sharks lost to the Golden Knights 4-3. Twice the Golden Knights lost to the Sharks 7-2. So kind of some quirky things happening there. 21-10 or 20-10 or something like that was the scoring imbalance, if you will, in favor of the Golden Knights. I guess just general perspective about the Golden Knights right now. They've been beating bad teams. Okay, fine, not a good take by any means, but you look at the way they're winning these last two games, right? The game against the Blues on paper, maybe a tiny bit closer than it actually was. Blues start the scoring with a very fluky goal. We'll talk more about that later, obviously. But then you go to the game against the Sharks, and the Sharks were really never in that game. The Blue Jackets game, it got a little bit closer, but again, a game where the Golden Knights kind of seem to have everything under control. And game against the Jets, very unfortunate start, but the Golden Knights found a way to claw back. And for about 35 minutes of that game, they were stellar compared to the Jets. So it's good to see the Golden Knights. Yes, they're beating bad teams, but
Mm,
they're dominating a little bit better now. So this
yeah.
certainly things are a lot better than a week ago. A week ago, we were talking about this team flatlined after that overtime loss to the Blackhawks. And yes, I was very loud about my concerns about Coach Cassidy's future. Should the Golden Knights in the last few games, if things would have gone bad, I think we'd be talking about a different situation for Coach. But things are going better, and you're starting to see a little more light now as the season, calendar turns to mid-January.
Well, let's see what happens this week, right? As they take on the Kings, and of course the big game against Toronto coming up here this upcoming week.
That's going to be
Carl,
fun.
yeah, it's going to be a blast.
I'll take that beer on Thursday, by the way.
What's that?
I'll take that beer on Thursday.
All right, I did promise you a beer, or we'll get you a beer on Thursday. So Carl Lindbaum is in that last night. Carter Hart now out, listed as week to week. Lindbaum would like to feast as well on San Jose. His only 2 wins in his career in the NHL, of course, against the Sharks. Lindbaum stopping 18 of 20 shots on goal. So not a huge workload for him by any means. So defensively, with the return of Shea Theodore over the weekend, I think that's helping out immensely here as far as the back line for the Golden Knights.
Yeah, and put him with Lozon just to make sure keep Lozon under check. We'll see how that pairing works out as the Golden Knights do have some tougher opponents ahead. But for obviously these last few games, it seemed to work just fine. Looking ahead, Kings, Leafs, Preds, Flyers, 4-game trip against Boston, Toronto on the 23rd. That's going to be something as always. Ottawa, Montreal. So then Dallas and Seattle to end the month of January here. So just random thoughts. Lindbaum, how come he only got 30 seconds in the post-game interview? Poor guy barely gets any camera time, but he beat the Sharks, so I guess that's all he gets. Hertl, of course, had plenty of face time in the post-game, obviously, on his 5-point night and everything. And like I said, I mean, it's better times seem to be happening for the Golden Knights. Let's just see how things go when they start playing some better teams.
Yeah, I think, empty net goals shouldn't count. So they count on the scoreboard, but they should not count as far as statistics go. No way. So Mark Stone, finally his goal streak ends last night in San Jose. I think they tried to get.
You're saying it should have ended the previous game because you got it.
It should have. Brett Howden out with a lower body injury. Is Saad out as well? Are both of those players out? Because Howden was a scratch last night, now out with a lower body injury, and I think Saad is out as well.
I didn't check news on Saad. Admittedly, I was a little out of pocket yesterday, but I think Saad might have just been a healthy situation. I don't know. But yeah, Brett Howden seems day to day, but I mean, you just never know. Obviously, coming off a back-to-back on the road, it could be the terrible. Well, it's day to day for now. Then they get back home and they dig in a little bit more and things change. But hopefully, it's just day to day because this team lacks centers. I know Howden really has been playing center lately, but this team lacks centers. So without Howden in the lineup, that makes things just a little bit worse. Number one, and back to Carter Hart. It seems like Carter Hart dodged a bullet with a long-term injury week to week versus everyone thought it might have been a situation where we're talking about an ACL or something like that. So while that's a good thing, that's going to complicate the goalie circumstances a little bit because Carter Hart, if we're going to call him week to week, we're looking at probably March 1st, about a month and a half, the way things go with the Golden Knights, plus the Well, it's the Olympic break, so all of a sudden you got a crowded goaltender stable come March 1st, and that's right around, of course, the trade deadline and everything. So a lot to unpack coming out of the coming out of the Olympic break.
Coming up next, we recap Saturday's victory over the St. Louis Blues. Stay with us on Locked On Golden Knights. New year, big goals, and somehow even less time to cook. If you are trying to eat better, but you don't want to spend all those hours grocery shopping or meal prepping, Factor makes it very easy. These are fully prepared meals. You might have seen them last night. They had a nice commercial on the Golden Globes. I know that Chris was watching that entire show. These meals are fully prepared. They're designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs so that you can eat well without all the work. Factor meals are made with quality, functional ingredients, lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole foods, and healthy fats. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, and no refined seed oils. Just real food that fits all of your goals, whether you're eating healthy, managing calories, or trying to get more protein into the diet. Factor also has new Muscle Pro meals. They're perfect when you want to try something higher in protein to support strength and recovery. And it honestly makes sticking to your goals so much easier because the food is already done for you. So today, you might want to head to factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50off and use the promo code LockedOnNHL50off to get 50% off of your first Factor box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's right. Factormeals.com/LockedOnNHL50off. Code LockedOnNHL50off. Make healthy eating easy with Factor. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas, Tony Dasco and Chris Gawlik reporting. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Of course, you got breakfast. What
free breakfast?
Yeah, the free breakfast is that's a game changer, right? That is a game changer. So VGK defeats the St. Louis Blues and increased the goal differential number for the Blues to -47. Sorry. I don't know why I did that. It was a 4-2 win on Saturday night. Now, we've told you in the past about the live boards behind the nets. Absolutely. We haven't seen this happen very often this season, but
That one
going
hit
back,
the glass, though, didn't it? Like the partition?
I think
This
it
one was
got glass,
partition,
a
I
little
believe,
bit
or
of
lack of
glass
partition.
and
They have
board.
partitions.
It got the glass. Okay, so in
Yeah.
any event, Robert Tomas gets the scoring going early for the Blues, but then good things happen when two superstars get into the act. One we have to mention, Mitchie Marner on Marner Monday, and Jack Eichel, who scored a goal off of a defender. And so he scored on the sharp angle, which was really good in that game. And we told you about him just really stepping up his game over the weekend. And Shea Theodore scores a goal in his first game back after he missed 11 games. So again, another complete victory. They're handling business, are the Golden Knights. Don't get ahead of yourself. They're not Stanley Cup contenders at the top just yet, but they are handling business here in this 4-game stretch.
Theodore almost 22 minutes in his first game back after injury. And then last night against the Sharks, 23 minutes. So that definitely confirms Coach Cassidy's perspective. Once you're ready to go, you go back into your regular role. There's no slowing down or anything like that. Something kind of cool when I was doing a lot more of the media stuff. You get there early for the Golden Knight games, and you have both Zamboni drivers actually on the ice. You have one Zamboni driver. Hear me out. They're not in the Zamboni. They're just the guys on the ice. You have one about where the referee's crease is, and then you have the other one right in front of the benches. Okay. And they each have a hockey stick in their hand. They got a couple pucks, and they are actually shooting the pucks around the dasher boards to each other. Now, they're not out there just screwing around having fun. I mean, sure, they're having fun, but they're actually testing the boards to make sure the pucks aren't taking any unnecessary bounces, because obviously parts of those boards can come out and things like that. They're constantly up and down between events and everything. So just a small nugget right there. But for the glass, obviously, that's a little bit different. They're not ribbon pucks around the glass or anything. They do have partitions in the glass. It is not seamless glass at T-Mobile Arena. So as a result, you're going to get some of those very strange bounces sometimes.
Let's talk about the Mark Stone hit on Philip
The
Broberg.
follow-up? That was good. Come on, Tony.
No, that's an interesting nugget. And it's a nugget for us today. I want to talk about Stone's hit on Broberg. And that was reviewed by the guys back east yesterday. And they said it was not a dirty hit by any stretch. It was not. Broberg, by the way, earlier in the day signed that 6-year, $48 million contract. And then Stone tries to break him in half. No, he hit the side of his head. I watched that a few times. He was checked into the boards. Nothing dirty about that hit. But as you know, there is the code. And so the captain of St. Louis, Braden Shen, gets into Stone and says, let's go. And they do have a little fight there, a little scrap. Stone, the worst. Is he worse than Kolasar? Who would win that fight? Stone gets his shirt ripped off, Hulk style. He loses that fight. And then it made me look up. I was checking out some previous fights for Mark Stone, and I pulled up that fight against Tomas Hertl, where Hertl just cleaned his clock as well when you go back to his days in San Jose. But what were your thoughts on that scrap and everything and the hit on Broberg?
I'm watching the hit over and over. I saw it in real time.
He landed on the side of his head, didn't he? Like Broberg?
Yeah, no, it's a very unfortunate bounce. I mean, I hate to say bounce like
his
that.
head.
Yeah, no, I mean, he had there's no protection. He's going down, hits the board. Stone hits him clean, foot gets up a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's no slew foot. There's no slew foot there.
No, I mean, I can see what they're
it's
looking at, but his foot isn't like his left foot goes forward. And in real time, I could see the ref seeing maybe there is a slew foot, which would be a very dangerous penalty, and Mark Stone would have to answer for supplemental discipline. But it's not a slew foot at all when you watch it a couple times. And yeah, back to the code. I mean, we saw Kolasar go through this the other night with the Hayden Fleury hit. You answer the bell, you fight. Stone didn't get a whole lot in. Stone took a couple soft shots. He lost the fight, but it wasn't that big of a deal. But the takeaway was the jokes. I mean, how many people when Fanatics became the official jersey supplier for the NHL, everyone's like, all these jerseys are going to come apart at the seams and everything. And well, Stone definitely didn't help Fanatics courts and the court of public opinion with the way his jersey came apart.
Do you like, again, we've been very critical of the move of Mitch Marner Monday to the center position, but he's starting to find a lot of room, a lot of space in front of the net now. And I think he's starting to pick up his game as well. So you have Marner, you have Hertl on a heater, you have Eichel just coming into his own, and then Mark Stone now up to 40 points for the VGK. It's been
Stone difference maker. I definitely am getting dragged for making a comment about 2 months ago with this team not really having that difference maker. Mark Stone saw that tweet. And you can see how he responded. So good on the captain. Marner, I mean, he's just sexier version than Chandler Stevenson. And I think when I say that is Stevenson, without even watching, I can tell you Stevenson's having the most boring 50-point season in the NHL. He's just out there doing his job, getting things done. I say Mitch Marner's a little sexier because he's a little better than a point per game player, trending to be right around in the 88 to 92 point range. You don't necessarily see it all the time, but all of a sudden he's got, 5 points in his last 4 games and 6 points in his last 4 games. So he goes on these runs here, and we've talked a lot on this show. He's on the right wing. He's on the left wing. Now he's a center.
Poor guy.
Now he's a center, and he's finding ways to, again, be relevant on the outcomes of these games. Not just, he's going to do it on the defensive side of the ice in the neutral zone, but he's doing it on the score sheet as a center. So I guess this is the new Swiss Army knife of this Vegas Golden Knights roster. Marner can play center. He can play either wing. He can play on the top line, the second line. It doesn't matter. And credit to Marner for, being able to adjust on the fly. And he's worth every penny of, speaking of that, we'll talk about contracts later, but he's worth every penny of his $12 million AAV.
One of the funny sights in that game the other night was Jordan Bennington in front of the net throws a fake punch at Colasar, like to see if he would flinch. Did you see that? Did you
I
catch
didn't
that?
catch that, but I'm sure
Bennington's
Colasar probably
always
laughed in his
he's
face.
always entertaining. Coming up next,
Yeah,
there's no
that's good.
word. There is no word on a new contract for VGK's Pavel Dorofeyev, who becomes a free agent this summer. We have the latest contract projections from AFP Analytics, our good friends. It comes your way next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how we run our business and think there has to be a better way. And there absolutely is. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades that you can make. And that's why today's episode is brought to you from the folks at Quo. That's spelled Quo. The smarter way to run your business communications. That's right, because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with your customers. And I love how simple Quo makes everything. Everyone sees the full conversation thread, which makes replies faster and more personal. It works right from your phone or computer, and you can even use your existing number. It's no surprise that Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2. It's trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. So make this the year where there is no opportunity, no customer that will be slipping away. Try Quo today for free. You get 20% off of your first 6 months as well when you go to quo.com. That's QUO, quo.com/LockedOnNHL. That's quo.com, QUO.com/LockedOnNHL. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. If you never miss an episode, it's time to make it official. Join the Locked On Everydayer Club. Get ad-free audio, access to our members-only Discord, and much, much more, all built for our most loyal fans. To join the Locked On Golden Knights community, just go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. So let's talk about Pavel Dorofeyev. He'll be without a contract at the end of this season. We haven't heard a peep. Is that a good way to term it? A peep? We've heard nothing about what the status is. There negotiations going on? Have talks begun with Doro's agent? Are they in English? Do they need an interpreter there? Whatever. Not a peep. Not a single word. So Dorofeyev started out the season on fire, but has since cooled off. His goal last night, though, however, is his 11th on the power play unit this season and 17th overall. And Chris, our good friend Kyle Stitch from AFP Analytics checked in with us, messaged us about the latest contract projection for Dorofeyev, who is still on power play 1, but they're hiding him out there as a fourth-line winger, which is very peculiar to me, to us. So what were your findings on the latest numbers? Are these a change from when we talked about a potential Dorofeyev contract going back to the early parts of the season?
You know, his contract's going to be tough, and his situation makes things tough, #1. Dorofeyev currently will be an RFA after this season. Puckpedia shows him not being a UFA until 28-29, which is pretty wild. 25 years old right now. I don't know if that could be moved up depending on games played and things of that nature. Dorofeyev is also arbitration eligible. If there's a prime candidate to go to arbitration, it certainly might be Dorofeyev, because his camp's going to want a lot. Kelly McCrimmon's going to want not a lot, and I think this might be a perfect chance to go to arbitration. 8.4 times 6, I believe, is where AFP currently has things. You look at the comparables, that's #1. Jordan Kyrou, Kevin Fiala, Troy Terry, Gustav Nyquist, Oliver Bjorkstrand. And they're all over the map from 5.4 to 8.1 million. Now you look, well, okay, do you value power play goals differently? Is this 5-on-5 game expected to get better? And the nature I tossed up there, can VGK afford Dorofeyev? Yes, the cap is going up. I get all that, but you look at the Marner deal. Eichel's not cheap. Stone's got another year that's gonna be pretty expensive, and McCrimmon will do some shopping as well in the offseason. So this is another very interesting contract situation. It's like it's almost like Aiden Hill, where you can't let him go, but signing him at that number could hurt. So I think he's probably worth every bit of $8.5 to $9 million. But if he can't
Hmm.
do it, do a little more 5-on-5. Is he worth that much money?
Well, early in the season, I thought we had him around 10 plus, right? When
I
he
think that was
started
me and
off,
you were around 9.5. I think his projection was
9.5.
in the nine to 8.5 range.
But what were the projections by AFP earlier in the season? They were higher, I believe. I believe it was higher
It was like
too.
7.2 or something like that, but that was early, and Dorofeyev got hot out of the gates.
Okay, I hate
So,
to even allude to this, but of
mm,
course, I am a conspiracy theorist.
no.
Does VGK maybe move Dorofeyev down to the fourth line to slow him down, fewer minutes and chances, so that hey, would you put this by VGK when he comes back with the team? They go, hey, your numbers weren't that great after the start of the season. Well, I'm playing like 5 minutes a game on the fourth line. He's still on PP1. Did I just say PP1? Yeah,
Cassidy's going to find ways to win.
that's it.
Cassidy's going to find ways to win. Dorofeyev's not going to be buried on the fourth line unless it's something weird for, a moment or two, but that's not going to happen.
Would you put that past the Golden Knights in the front office, though, to do that? I would not.
I wouldn't put a little bit outside interference past the front office, but at the end of the day, you got to win games. And I mean, the Pacific is Charmin soft, so maybe they can win games by some shenanigans, but I think no. And listen, everyone in the league knows Dorofeyev's value, whether it is internally with the Golden Knights or externally somewhere else. Being an RFA, the Golden Knights do hold the higher foot, sort of the higher power, if you will, in the negotiations, because basically that means Dorofeyev is either a Vegas Golden Knights or going to be playing overseas if he doesn't like the way the contract shakes out. I don't know if he can be, if there's an offer sheet scenario, how that could possibly work, but if there's one that's going to go to arbitration, this
Oof.
might be the one.
VGK absolutely hates arbitration, by the way. They absolutely do. And he could definitely secure the bag if it does. If it goes in
Yeah,
that
but if his
direction.
team wants 9 million, Golden Knights are willing to pay him 7.5 to 8. You roll the dice at arbitration. For a year.
Okay. And don't forget, thanks again to at AFP Analytics. Check them out, Kyle Stitch and our good friends there. Thanks for them giving us all of that info. And thanks for tuning in to Lockdown Golden Knights today. Make sure you subscribe and you follow us so you get all of the latest episodes. And please go to lockdownpodcast.com every day or to check out the latest. For Chris Gawlik, Tony Cardasco, see you tomorrow right here